Maybe Mamo update of what happened to Chairman Wontumi on the very day I ordered a 9SC in Nsawam prison. Now, according to Blakk Rasta or Black Pot Jumadi, so Blakk Rasta actually say, day na ye jaìl Wontumi, which is 3 days ago, no. Chairman Wontumi, Ashanti governor, Kodru in Nsawam prison. Yet chire the baby obedano for the next 20 years, no. Wontumi soon ye. In fact, at a point, or catch or muse, baby a druno. Man ye mean flew and faman kwa she baby a menya ya de sheka cry our prison wa me woo mean to me. And ye and Samuel Dawson. Ye bet ye Blakk Rasta. Kevin Taylor I send a message dear my MPP for almost see the table will turn, ye name table crop. Say a plastic table, say a stuffing table, say a banquet table, table by your name. Kevin Taylor today a table crow. Yebe koso. Now yen table Blakk Rasta ambra.
Wontumi's first day at Nsawam prison. All that happened. My brother, my sister, we have told you time and again that Wontumi will go to jail no matter what. No Obia man can save him. No witchcraft, no wizardry can save him. As we used to say in the days, he had crossed the Rubicon. And it was natural for the die to be cast as long as the Rubicon is crossed. This is Chairman Wontumi. Very arrogant guy. My brother, my sister, he came out of nothing into something, made so much money. My brother, my sister, by the age of 24, he said he already owned 2 huge story buildings in Kumasi. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison yesterday, and he was shocked. Even though NPP idiots are going round, my brother, my sister, saying that it had already come out that he was going to be sentenced to 20 years in prison. My brother, my sister, he was visibly shocked at the time that the judge, Justice Audrey Kokuvi Day, pronounced judgment on him. He looked left, then he looked right, and he wished the ground could open and swallow him into oblivion. But no, realism was a plaster on his forehead like the sign of Cain. My brother, my sister, this is Chairman Wontumi. Now, after the pronouncement, his lawyers walked out with their tails in between their legs. They have tried all kinds of legal tricks to be able to slow down the momentum of the trial. But the sitting judge stood her grounds and said no to any tarriness. My brother, my sister, he was driven all the way to Nsawam. And when he landed right there at Nsawam, he looked around, pinched himself several times, and told himself that what? He couldn't believe this. A man who is used to luxury, a man who has seen money, a man who has stolen from the state, a man who has destroyed the flora and fauna of the state selfishly for his own comfort, right now had entered into the wide gates of Nsawam prison. My brother, my sister, when he walked in there, they moved him straight to his cell. He was not supposed to go there with any big bag. He was only going in there with a Ghana must go. That is what is allowed. And when he went in there, this was what happened exactly when he got in there. He arrived around 5:45 p.m., 5:45. And when the gates were opened, he walked in there, and other prisoners were already in the yard. They started mentioning his name. That was when he saw the other side of reality. Come here. Watch this. Now, Chairman Wontumi having gone in there, they took him straight to what many people will call the VIP section. But the name is the Diagnostic Center. He went in there. Now, what is in there is different from the rest of the cells. Here, there is a fan, no air conditioning. But there is also a TV set connected to DSTV that you could watch Chelsea that you wanted to buy a few years back. You have the chance to watch animals in the wild like Pastor Mensa Otterville would. My brother, my sister, and his bed was a student-sized bed. The mattress was thin like this, as if 2 mosquitoes were going to sleep on that. With his heavy weight and huge body, oh my God, when he was pointed to the bunk bed that this was going to be his bed, he went on his knees immediately and started to pray. My brother, my sister, tears welled his eyes, and he could be heard by officers say, "Oh, Irade, if this is my new home, give me the strength to be able to stay here." And tears welled up his eyes. Water started to come down. Chairman Wontumi was visibly shattered beyond comparison. My brother, my sister, his Ghana must go was on one side of the thing. Now, this diagnostic center can take up to about 50 people. It's bunk beds like student halls. He got in there, and it went all the way to 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Everyone was going to bed. Chairman Wontumi couldn't sleep. He turned his body left and right. He got up and prayed all the way to about 10 p.m. He tried to go back to bed again. Sleep eluded him. My brother, my sister, he tried to look through the window, but he could only look into the yard. And he realized that the whole place was very quiet, except a few crickets that made a lot of noise around, coupled with the guttural voices, the basic voices of a few toads. Chairman Wontumi shed more tears. He couldn't sleep the whole night. He was coughing. Chairman Wontumi, my brother, my sister, saw reality. He prayed and prayed and prayed. But that was just the first day. He has 19 years more and 364 1/4 days to go, if he's to go by all 20 years. We know that it's not up to that when we are dealing with the prison system. Early this morning, and this is where the news is. Dash it away and come here. Now, Chairman Wontumi, early this morning, started to complain that he was ill, very sick, and was shivering. They took him to the infirmary. That's another name for a clinic right there inside the Nsawam prison. And then he told the doctor that he was diabetic. "I am diabetic. I am sick. I swear, if you leave me here, I'll die." Chairman Wontumi says he's diabetic. And if he's left in there for another 1 week, he would die in there. So they moved him from the diagnostic center all the way into the infirmary. I am a man of those years. Let me take you through exactly what the diagnostic center is. And you get to know exactly what it is. Run the doors here. And watch this. The Correctional Diagnostic Center at the Nsawam Medium Security Prison is a specialized assessment unit established with support from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime to evaluate incoming inmates, individual risks, needs, and mental well-being. So Chairman Wontumi was taken there. When you go in there, they evaluate you. What is your mental condition? There are some kind of conditions that will not warrant you to be with just everybody. Do you have a disability? It would be very, very unfortunate to add a disabled person or a person with physical conditions like that to be put in there. So Chairman Wontumi was put in there. Now he's in the infirmary where there are only 4 people right now as we speak. Chairman Wontumi got in there. So he's in the clinic. As we speak right now, he says he's diabetic. They are running tests on him. At the end of the day, they will find out if he's truly diabetic. If he is, my brother, my sister, they would find a way of dealing with the situation. Is Chairman Wontumi trying to find a way to run away from the prison and go and be in the hospital like all these dirty politicians do? My brother, my sister, once they get picked up, all their sicknesses come.
So this is Blakk Rasta giving us the full gist of what happened to Wontumi yesterday, the day before yesterday. To be very honest, so near Blakk Rasta can you no crepa dear and Wontumi nya prison 2 years old prison na and the entire do because hey Charlie Nsawam so dey easy. Yeah, must how to avoid trouble. Stay out of trouble. So I'm called prison now. Who say freedom boy day. Wontumi sikabe na Wontumi anhu wani wiase. Sikabe na Wontumi anhu wani wiase. Upon sika owo nyina but still scanner antiman save no. When I can say good name is better than riches no. Example no. This is the first time my party, the MPP, is feeling the real impact of being in opposition and being held accountable. 2009 to 2017, they had a free pass because President Mills was a calm, cool man, and that impacted President Mahama largely. Just 18 months of being in opposition and being held to account their rant is that tables will change. To account their rant is that tables will change. Of course, tables will turn and it could be 2029 after 4 years or 2066 after 40 years. And I was also just say, this is the first time on one party MPP before a feeling just say a feeling a friend is saying account a feeling say yes. I bind it to me ba Emma just say yeah more account for Jumo Muye because 2017 now Mix na no a president and a President Mahama be take over. Now Mills a very calm and President Mahama then follow Mills procedure and all the completing 4 years of coffee. But I see our power idea or bu on one kasana mamu. And the accountability now start after almost tables will turn. We all don't know that's in the hands of God Almighty and the reasonable Ghanaian whether those screaming tables will turn will live long enough to see that or not only God knows. But to think they are not being remorseful about their foolish governance just 18 months ago but are only fixated on coming to power because they feel it's their birthright gives me joy. However, if the tables turn, they will definitely turn again, so no fears. And more ma. What you are saying? The table no head down in there. Definitely table no so bad then. A bed done in one day. A bed done is but you see, Maminka has a minchro. So when the best topic corruption was Ghana, me support it. Oh yeah, because say NDC ba power na so mube jaìl MPP corrupt leaders. Na MPP subeba power no mun sube jaìl NDC corrupt leaders and ka ebe bua o mind we pa me support it because both parties no ma demonstrating ade ba ko over these years in governance ade ba ko ni say eya very hard to say o mbe jaìl o mo munipa just like that na eya those side parties no eya na too hard so o mbe jaìl o mo munipa because senka yesi enjeli nkrofo pa nka and MPP omo meko jail because of corruption in Kenya but because they were part of the government into the antachi omo and the NDC bana so on spare obi na obe jail MPP for we corruption na MPP so be no be jail NDC for is fine ye Ghana for your support this act no muye na sa maye me fuaso You understand? Na yen jai huhuru mensana mizumi huhuru jano. Ye pese sanitize system na corruption jai. Na pese menkuminya jai. Na ye build a nation no kwayedim. If that is the case, I agree. We agree Kebe boy. See, ni everywhere ban no. Wontumi first day in Nsawam prison update no.